Dobar dan, dragi učenici i studenti, drago mi je što ste danas sa nama. Ovdje je EducationUSA centri koji vam danas predstavlja jedan vrlo interesantan američki univerzitet, Valparaiso University, kojeg predstavlja naša draga Marci Fradkin. Marci je već dolazila u Sarajevo nekih 4-5 puta, obišla je Mostar i stvarno se nada da će naći neki učenike iz Bosne i Hercegovine i sa Balkana da zapravo apliciraju njen college. Iz tog razloga je Marci napravila jednu posebnu, vrlo interesantnu stipendiju za učenike, odnosno studente iz ovog kraja svijeta, odnosno sa Balkana. O toj stipendiji i o univerzitetu općenito će danas da priča, te se nadamo se da ćete ostati s nama do kraja. Marci, be my guest.
To Southeast Europe for a very long time. I really enjoy working with students from the region. And that's why at Valparaiso, I've been here a little over a year and a half. And when I started here, I said, these are some of the most wonderful students in the region, from Bosnia, from Albania, from Croatia, from Macedonia, all the countries included in the Southeast Europe tour. And I said, these are the students we would like to attract to our university, and I suggested we start the scholarship. My name is Marci Fradkin. I'm the Director of International Outreach and Admissions here at Valparaiso, and I work with both graduate and undergrad students. I would like to introduce Andrew Hull here, and who are you, Andrew?
I'm Andrew Hall. I'm the Assistant Director of International Outreach and Admission. I generally work with strictly undergraduate students, helping them through the admissions process. I do read the applications and for major contacts about the application, documentation, and pre-visa approval and things like that. I'd be your main contact here.
And we will be participating in the Southern Europe tour. I believe it's in April, and we look forward to meeting you there. But if you have any questions at the end, our email will be at the end of this thing, and we're very happy to answer any questions we can about bachelor's degrees or master's degrees here at Valparaiso University. So let's start the presentation. Let's go back to the original slide. The first slide is my favorite building on campus, and it is our library. The library is the reason I always start with the slide because I think it symbolizes how we are at Valparaiso. The library is relatively new on campus, and it was designed with the help of students in several different departments. Some of our sociology students helped do a survey, what was important to students on our campus in building a new library, and then our civil engineering students helped design it. So what was important to our students on our campus is they wanted a building with lots of light. Books don't like light, though. So when they were trying to figure out how to design a building that had lots of light, but how could we protect the building or protect the books? That's why the civil engineering students came in. This sort of symbolizes about how Valparaiso approaches education here. We want students' participation. We want students to take an active role in real life experiences. So like I said, sociology students helped figure out the survey, and our engineering students helped us figure out that we needed to build this skeleton structure on the outside of the building that would allow light in, but yet it would reflect light away from the books. This building is very student focused. There's fireplaces on each floor. There's a Starbucks inside of it, and there's lots of areas for students to study. We are moving into final week soon. And at that time, the building is open 24 hours a day. For the rest of the year, the building's open about 18 hours a day. And it's very focused. It's a place for our students to be and to gather. So, it's important. Let's go on to the next slide. When you're looking at a university, it's important to look at things that are important to you. I always tell students, I'm going to use Valparaiso as our example here today. But I always tell students that they should think of these questions when they're looking at universities. What is important to them? Because if anything America has is too many choices. In the US, we have over 5,000 universities and colleges in the United States for students to choose from. And there's a lot of different pathways to education. There's a lot of different learning philosophies. There's a lot of different types of universities. I've worked at many different types. Like I worked at a very large research university in Texas, And an average freshman class size would be 300 students. And it was very lecture focused, and there was not much interaction between the students and the teachers. There's comprehensive master universities, and Valparaiso is actually a hybrid between a comprehensive master's university and a liberal arts university. Liberal arts believes in educating both sides of the brain. So we don't care if you're an engineering student, you have to learn some arts. Or if you're an art student, you have to learn some science. We like to make those connections in the liberal arts education. Public versus private. Private in America doesn't mean some of the best universities in America are private, and some of the best universities in America are public. So public means it's sponsored by the U.S. government and the states they're in. And often the funding is on the undergrad side is not as lucrative. Private universities are very expensive, but we know we're very expensive. So we offer and add good funding for universities. Big or small, what is important to you? Do you want a big university experience? I went to University of Arizona and there was 45,000 students on campus. It's larger than the town I currently live in. Valparaiso is around 4,000 students. But my friend, he works at a university downstate Indiana, and he only has 1,000 students. Do you want to be part of a big crowd? Do you want a medium-sized university? These are all things you should think about. Class size. What is a class size? Like I said, at that big research university in Texas, average class size was around 300 students for first year. Our average class size here at Valpo is only 20 students. And so it's really these are all questions when you're looking at universities, I think you should be asking. What kind of experience is important to you? Do you want to be able to know your professors? Do you want to have research opportunities? Or do you want to have that big university experience? And sometimes a school is better, some schools are better for undergrad versus masters. I think some of the research universities are excellent places to go for a master's program. But if I had to redo my education, I don't think I would have chosen it as an undergrad student. Let's move on to the next slide. Andrews has to excuse himself. He has another meeting he has to go to. So Valparaiso is the best of both locations. Location is another thing you should be considering when you're picking a university. Sometimes a lot of the schools in California the tuition is a lot lower than tuition in other parts of the United States. But your overall cost is very high, for instance. I know the tuition at, I think, like the Cal States are around $15,000 a year. But your living costs might also be around $18,000. So make sure when you're considering a university, you look at where the location is, look at the tuition, but also please look at the average cost of living. For instance, an apartment in LA for a studio apartment probably is around $15,000 or $1,500 versus a studio in Valparaiso is only around $500. So Valparaiso, like I said, is the best of both worlds. We're by the third largest city, which is Chicago, and we're in the state of Indiana, which is in the top 5 states where international students are studying in the United States. We're only 72 kilometers from downtown Chicago, and we're considered a suburb of Chicago. So you get that real, small town college experience, but you have access to a very, very large city that has a very large Balkan community. I regularly go get shepsa and other yummy things from the region. One of my favorite things, I don't ever say it right, is bareka. And I love that, and I can get that in Chicago. So it's a best of both worlds, where you'll get the small college town experience here in Valpo, but you have access to the big city. And we even have public transportation students can take to the big city. Next slide, please. So like I said, Valparaiso is where the name of my university is Valparaiso University, but also the name of the town is Valparaiso. Valparaiso is around 32,000 people. We're 19 kilometers from Lake Michigan, which is one of the largest lakes in the world. And we have sand dunes. It has a real beach, and there's public transportation. In nicer weather, right now we have snow, but nicer weather, students often go hang out at the beach. Like I said, we're only 72 kilometers from Chicago. A lot of our students will go do internships in Chicago or get jobs over the summer in Chicago. We have, even though we're a small town, we do have a bus service. A lot of smaller towns in the United States do not have bus service, but in Valparaiso, we do have a bus service. We have lots of shopping in downtown Valpo, very easy walking distance from campus. We have everything from a million coffee houses, cupcake shops, Middle Eastern food, Chinese restaurants. So everything is just at your fingertips here. And then, like we said, we have train and bus service to Chicago for if you want that bigger town experience while you're not studying. So Valparaiso, like I said, is the ideal location. Next slide. The other thing I think is important to students is, am I going to be able to get a job after graduation? Or am I going to be able to get into graduate school? I'm very results driven. And I really want to be able to show my students who are considering Valparaiso as their option for education is it a good place for them to study? Are we going to help them find a job afterwards? And those are really, really, really important to our students. And so Valparaiso has an over 97% job placement rate or grad school placement following graduation. If a student chooses nursing, our nursing is at 99% job or grad school placement. And yes, we do accept international students into our nursing program. And our engineering program is almost 98%. And the average, most of our engineering students are getting 3 job offers. And that's because of the quality education we're providing. So make sure when you're considering what university to pick, ask these questions. What is your job and grad school placement? Next slide. America has very strict rules for international students who want to work off campus, and we are very good at navigating those rules. And so while you're studying, you're allowed to do internships, and about 99% of students at Valparaiso does internships as part of their course of study. And that official term for that internship in an immigration term is called curriculum practical training. To work off campus as an international student, you have to have permission to work off campus. And then you get permission through our international office, and then we talk to immigration. So that's called CPT. Following graduation, you do something called OPT, optional practical training. Every student has an option to do at least 1 year of optional practical training following graduation, no matter what their major is, from being a teacher to being in engineering to nursing. Everyone is allowed to work for 1 year in the field of study they study for 1 year, and that's called OPT. Now, if you're a lucky student who chooses a STEM major, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, you are allowed to get something called a STEM extension. And America is not very good at math and science, so we have a shortage of people in those fields. I know you guys are very good in those fields in your region of the world. So you can work for up to 3 years. Engineering, as by example, their starting salary in America is around $60,000 or higher. So yes, Valparaiso is not a cheap education, but we do have good scholarships, and I'll talk about that later. But there's a lot of good options for students to get jobs after graduation. And like I said, we have that 97% overall job placement. For the last 20 years, we've been over 90%. So it's not just a fluke to 97. We've just been growing and growing, growing in those job placements. So as any student, you can work for 1 year on OPT, but if you're a STEM major, you can work for up to 3. And these are some of the companies our students have worked in. Next slide. The reason our students are so successful getting jobs is we don't start preparing students for jobs about when they're graduating. We want you to be doing internships as you are studying here at Valparaiso. We want you to be building your resume, building your CV, whichever you guys want to call it, building your skills. And so we have very strong career services on our campus. We have an office that's all they do is help students find internships, help students build their interview skills, and help students find that job while they're studying and after graduation. They also help you find a job to work on campus. And you can work up to 20 hours a week as a student on campus during the school year, and up to 40 hours a week during the summer. And so that helps students pay for their their living costs a little bit and offsets that. So the career services helps you find a job on campus, helps you find an internship, and also helps you find a job after graduation. If you go to Valparaiso, this is a service you can use for your whole life. Once you're a Valpo student, you're always part of the family. And we have these things. We have something called Handshake, and that's our database of all the jobs on and off campus for students. And I don't care if you're 10 years down the line, you're looking for a job and go, oh, let me log into Handshake. There's jobs there. And they're not just jobs in the United States. There's often jobs all around the world. So we really, like I said, help you build your skills. One of my other favorite things in the career service is this interview stream. A lot of students don't have experiences interviewing for jobs. So we want to help them to build the skills. Like I said, you're not supposed to use career services just when you're graduating. This is something we want you to start using from day one. So Handshake will help you, the interview stream will help you practice your interview skills. It will videotape you, and then it will you'll get advice on how to improve your interview skills. So like I said, we're here to give you the skills to find the job and also help you and the interview skills as well. Next slide. So we I would say our philosophy in education is a little different from some of the things. We only have full-time faculty that are teaching our courses. We don't use anything teaching assistants to teach our courses. A lot of our faculty are also working in the field, so they can bring you those real skill experiences. A lot of our students who graduate from Valpo, we do a lot of surveys on our students, and they're not just getting the job, but also they're often leaders in the field. And it's because of the skills they have learned from our professors. And we work very closely with our students. And if you see, our classrooms are very small. A lot of them are seminar style, like you see on the right. And it's a dialogue between the students and the professors. We really care about building your skills, helping you find your path. And that's why a lot of professors choose to work here, is because they want to be able to be a mentor to our students and help them find their path in the field of their chosen field. Next. So here's all our rankings. I think the ranking we're most proud of is our engineering is ranked 18 for undergrad engineering on U.S. News Reports. And that has a lot. We only do undergrad engineering here at Valpo. We do have graduate programs, but not in engineering. And that's because how we teach our engineering and a lot of our sciences. Many of our undergrad programs do not overlap with our graduate programs because we want our undergrad students to have the opportunity to do research. And so our engineering is very highly ranked. And like I said, most of our students are getting 3 job offers. They have to do an internship. And I would say about 70% of their classroom is actually done in the labs in our engineering. It's really hands-on experience. Next slide. At Valparaiso, we have over 70 undergrad majors. We have 5 colleges here. One is our honors college. Christ College is modeled after Oxford. But we have the College of Engineering, the College of Business, College of Nurse and Health and Professional, and College of Arts and Science. Our most popular majors are engineering, nursing, business, education, and meteorology. But we have a wide variety of courses. And the really cool thing at Valpo is you can sort of design your own degree. It's a little harder for the STEM degrees, but we even have meteorology students who are also studying communication because they want to be a weather person on TV. And we have a very famous alumni who's on one of the American TV shows that did that. So it's really easy to combine degrees. Like a lot of our business students are also doing psychology, or they're doing economics. So it's very easy to design your own degrees, except for maybe for engineering and nursing. But the other ones, it's very easy to do a double major or a major and a minor. That's the nice thing about American education, is there's somewhat flexibility in your education. Not in what you have to learn, but how you can design it to meet what your career goals are. Next. Like I said, we have a very large graduate program, not as large as our undergrad. We have over 20 majors in our undergrad or in our graduate programs, and we have A lot of international students in our graduate programs. And the graduate programs actually our undergrad programs start twice a year, and our graduate programs have 3 starts a year. And I know a lot of computer science is very popular in the Balkans. And so cybersecurity and IT are very popular majors. Most of our graduate programs are 2-year degrees, 18 months to 2 years, all except our MBA, which is a 1-year global MBA, where you actually even get to do a study abroad as part of that MBA. Next slide. So a little bit more about our rankings. We've won our awards for internationalization. We've won awards for best value. We've won a lot of awards for our teaching, and that's where I'm very, very proud of it. Like I said, professors choose to work here at Valparaiso because they want to work with the students. They want to help them find their pathway, and they want to be part of those students' life. Next slide. We have around 4,000 total students on our campus, so we consider us a medium-sized university. We have around 350 international students on our campus from 50 different countries. Once again, we're 72 kilometers from Chicago. For America, we're pretty old. Valparaiso was established in 1859. We have over 350 acres on our campus. Most of our classrooms are smart classrooms. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. We're a very traditional campus where we have lots of green space, we have an engineering building, we have our chemistry and biology building, which is our brand new building, which only has 1 classroom. This building is 2 floors, but only has 1 classroom in the whole building because we want our students in the labs learning hands-on experience. We do have many dorms and many different dorm types, and we'll talk about that a little later. And for those graduate students, we also have lots of apartments. Undergrads are required to live on campus for the first 3 years. Next slide. We have lots of different international organizations. We're very Muslim student friendly. We have a prayer room on campus. We have halal food on campus. But we also want you to learn from the American students. We also want you to learn from the other international students. So we have a lot of different international festivals on campus, and we would like to share each other's cultures. We even have a radio station on campus that students participate, and a TV station on campus. Next. These are the things that I think helps our students be very, very successful. Our average class size is 18 to 20 students. So like I said, it's good and bad. The professors know if you haven't made it to class, but they also know if you haven't made it to class. And they also tell if you're struggling with something. So like I said, students work very closely with the professors, and they really have that great interaction. For every 12 students we have on campus, we have 1 faculty. We talked about professional and career development. Like I said, most of our students are doing internships, but they're also doing a lot of research on campus. And that's really helping them prepared for the workforce. That's why our students, when we have a career fair on campus, we often have over 200 companies coming to recruit our students at Valparaiso. It's because they've had that hands-on experience, that experiential learning. Learning by doing is how we teach. And we talked about OPT and CPT already. Next. Once again, that personal connection. Your professors know your name. They help you figure out your goals. They help you connect with professionals in the field you're doing it. This is, at a big university with 300 students in a classroom, those professors, yes, they have office hours and they will talk to you, but you might be waiting like an hour or even a couple days to talk to that professor. Here at Valparaiso, our professors are being your mentor. They're making sure you're getting the research you want to do. They're making sure you're taking the right courses to be successful in your chosen field. They know you by your name. I have alumni that have graduated 10 years ago and are still in contact with their professors. This is where we're really making those personal connections. We're also teaching you as a student to make those personal connections and how that will help you in your future goals. Thank you. Next. Application is very, very easy for graduate and undergrad students. The application is for undergrads. is just an online application, a personal statement, a passport proof. We need you to take one test. It could be AP or IB. It could be your A levels, SAT, ACT, TOEFL, or IELTS. So if you give us a TOEFL or IELTS, you don't need to take the SAT. If you have A levels or IB, you don't need to take any other tests. We look at students as people. Like I said, that's the small interaction you get at a university like Valparaiso. Yes, we do need to see your transcripts. And we have really very strong scholarships, which I'll talk about for all students from the Balkans. And you guys, we have different categories for different countries, and you guys fall into the highest category for scholarships. Last year, 95% of grad and undergrad students got scholarships and came. Our graduate application has a couple more steps. We do not require a GRE or GMAT except for an MBA. So the only test a graduate student is required to do is the TOEFL or IELTS. But they have to have the application, transcript, 2 letters of recommendation, a reflective essay or statement of purpose, and notice for the undergrad, no application fee, and a passport and bank statement. So we try to remove roadblocks for students. We know it's expensive to apply to universities in America, especially shipping. So we take all our documents electronically, and you can upload them to the website. Next slide, please. Like I said, and if this is shared with other parts of the former Yugoslavia, all the countries on the Southern Europe tour qualify for this scholarship. I know I'm talking to Bosnian students today, so we make you guys listen. Our tuition per year is $38,000. We have merits-based scholarships that go up to $30,000 a year. So you can attend Valpo with the living cost and your health insurance for as low as $24,000 a year. $30,000 is our top scholarship, and we do a holistic review of students, undergrad students, to get that scholarship. The scholarship looks at your essay. It looks at your test you provided. It looks at your transcripts. It looks at what major you're interested in. What clubs have you participated in? So it really is a holistic review. Yeah, grades and tests probably weigh a little bit more important. But like I said, last year, 95% of our students got international students got scholarship. And I even think from your area of the world, the scholarship might have been up to 98% before we. We also, if your grades are not as good, but you have okay grades, we have this other scholarship called You Are Welcome Here. This scholarship, you have to do an additional essay or video talking about how you are going to be an ambassador for, to America from your country, how you're going to be an ambassador at home. So all the information about our scholarships are on our website. For the Bosnian scholarship or the Balkan scholarship, there's no additional paperwork needed. You just apply, and all students are automatically considered for that scholarship. The You Are Welcome Here scholarship does have a separate application, and you can find that information on your website, or just email me and I'll give you the information if you can't find it. For graduate students, we also have a scholarship, and all graduate students are automatically considered for the scholarship, up to 25% off tuition for those students. So the tuition could be as low as $9,000 per year for graduates for most of our programs. So like I said, we want you guys to be part of our campus. We really enjoy having international students, and that's why we provide these strong scholarships. And we know students from your area of the world are very strong students, and they like to participate in campus. That's something very important to Valparaiso, is that the students want to be part of active role in the classroom. They want to have dialogue with other students. They want to be doing research with our professors. We want students who want to be part of our community here at Valparaiso, and that's why we're providing strong scholarships to students from your area. Next slide. Let's talk about life at Valpo. So I know you guys have good public transportation in your area of the world, but let me tell you, I've lived in a lot of smaller towns in the United States, and not every town has public transportation. We are very lucky here. This is our little bus. There's several buses that go around Valparaiso. It's called the B Line. As a citizen, as someone who's a staff member here, I have to pay for the bus. Well, all international students, or actually all students, period, with their student ID, get access to the bus for free. And it can take you to the movies, it can take you to the mall, it can take you to downtown. Even though it's very easy to walk to downtown, on the weekend it takes you to the train station, so you can take the bus to Chicago. So the bus is completely free for Valpo students, and it's very, very convenient way to get around. There's even an app for the bus service, and you can look on your phone to find out when the next bus is coming. Next slide. We do have 4 seasons, but so do you guys, so I feel very comfortable talking about that. Like I said, we have 320 acres on our campus, and it's very, very diverse. We're always adding more and more green spaces on our campus, and we really care about what your experience is going to be like. So this is showing Valpo in the 4 different seasons. Next. This is our overall picture of our campus. We are a Lutheran university, but you don't have to be of any certain religion. We have students from all wide variety of religions on campus. Like I said, we do have halal food on campus. We have Catholics are our largest number on campus, our largest religious group on campus. But Muslim students are very high as well due to our international student population. We have Hindu students. So we really care about everyone feeling part of our community and about our campus. The big building on the left is our student center, and there are no classes in that building. And that building is all just focused on, our cafeteria, providing services, club services, having a game room. So it's all focused on students and their activities. Next. Like I talked about, Valpo is very much about hands-on education. You can see a lot of our undergrad students are doing research. The bottom right-hand corner here is our civil engineering students, and they're trying to figure out how much metal do you have to have in cement to hold up a building. So like I said, this is why our students are getting jobs. They're not just learning about the theory. They're doing that theory. They're taking what that teacher's teaching and then applying it to real life experiences. Like I said, the new building is our biochemistry building featured in the upper left-hand corner. It's a 2-floor building. There's only 1 classroom in the whole building. The rest of the building is all science labs because we want you to have that real life experience. A lot of our students are publishing with their professors on the undergrad side and going to conferences. And often we are some of the only undergrad students at those conferences. They're going with those professors, and that's why they're getting such good jobs afterwards or getting into really strong master's programs afterwards. Next. This is our arts and science building. Our philosophy here, as you've seen the flame a lot in a lot of our different photos, the flame is very important to us because where we believe there is light, where there is education, there is light, is our philosophy. When there's no education, we're in a dark, dark world. But we have lots of good, strong education here, and we really want to open the light and bring light to our students. The front of the arts and science building, the word light is written, I think, in about 60 different languages. Because, like I said, we really believe the whole world is we want to educate the whole world. And that bringing that light to a lot of different people. I know Bosnia has a lot of good athletes, and so does other students from the former Yugoslavia. We are a Division I university, and we do offer, this is the only way to get a full ride at Valparaiso is through an athletic scholarship. If you just like watching sports with your student ID, you get into all our sporting matches for free. Basketball, our football, European football, soccer, baseball. So you can get into all those different games for free. You also, with your student ID, you can get into, you can go to our dance shows, our concerts. Every year we have a TED Talk on campus. Those tickets are a little hard to get. There's only a limited amount of tickets. We really like to have a very, very active campus, and that's why we're interested in having students from your part of the world, because you guys are active students. Next slide. Now, as an undergrad student, you are required to live on campus for 3 out of the 4 years. We have 11 housing options on campus. Let me tell you, I can personally say the dorms are very, very nice. When I first moved here, I lived in the dorms while I was trying to find housing, and my dorm room had a flat screen TV. It had a kitchen. That was in one of the apartment dorms, and it had granite countertops. It's the only time I've ever had granite countertops was living in dorms here. But also, a lot of our students, there is one way to live off campus if your relatives were living close by, and that's mostly American students. But a lot of those students, like after a semester, they tell their parents, "No, I want to move into the dorm," because we are a whole community here at Valparaiso. So it's really, activities happen from early morning to late at night. So a lot of students who try to live off campus they don't feel like they're part of that campus. So that's why we do require, unless you have relatives right here in the area, to live on campus. Graduate students can live off campus, and so can students who are in their last year. We do have sororities and fraternities if that's something you're interested in joining as well. Off-campus housing is relatively cheap, and dormitories aren't that bad either. I have a 3-bedroom house for $1,000. So if you were a graduate student or a senior and you wanted to share that apartment, you'd only be paying like around $350 to $400. Next. Like I said, we're very onto our hands-on learning and our research. Here is our planetarium. We have a really big telescope on campus. I think we have a very big robotics program here. This is our robotics soccer team that has won awards. And it's really cool. It's often our computer science and our electrical engineering students working together to build these robots. And they play soccer, which I thought was really cool. This is our solar oven here on the right-hand corner. This is the only one that's built specifically for undergrad research. Like I said, we're all about that experiential learning and hands-on research. Next. As part of becoming the Valparaiso family, we require all international students, grad and undergrad, to participate in a 1-week orientation. And we do fun activities and academic activities and help you register for classes. We're trying to give you the tools to adjust to living in the United States and to making friends right off. It's hard. It's a little challenging to make friends, but often our students walk away and they have had made friends from all over the world. We have an international office that supports you throughout your whole education, and they look out for you if you're having struggling in class or having homesickness, and they plan fun activities for our students constantly. So that's our international. Next. These are just some of our students who have attended Valpo, and they have really good little stories here. And I'll let you guys read this yourself. But we have students from many different countries, and students who come here, they're a little nervous because we're a smaller university when they first get here, but they really learn to appreciate the experience of being part of the Valpo family and the Valpo community. The next slide. Like I said, we have had students from all over the world, and they're very successful. And we reached out to them and said, "What was your favorite memories of your experience here?" And this guy who played Ultimate was in the Ultimate Club, and he really valued how he made friends in those clubs and joining a fraternity and things like that. So different students are very important. And he got into University of Illinois is one of the top engineering programs at the graduate level. And from his degree here, he got into a very strong engineering program at University of Illinois. A lot of times they get funding because they're such strong students here and they have those resources. Next slide. IT is one of our most popular programs on the graduate side. The cool thing about our master's in IT is that if you studied a bachelor's in business or in chemistry and you go, "Oh, maybe I like computer science better," students are allowed to move direct. And we help students start from fresh from the beginning to join the IT. Next slide. Like I said, our MBA is very, very cool. It's a 1-year global MBA. If you have work experience, we waive the GRE or GMAT requirement. The MBA it covers a wide variety of subjects, and it is global because we look at the MBA from many different international perspectives. But also, as part of your tuition, we take you on an international trip every year. Last year, they went to Costa Rica. The 2 years before that, they went to Germany. And the year before that, they went to China. So as part of the MBA, you go on a 2-week business trip, and you get to learn about businesses in other countries. And that is included in your tuition. Next slide. Here's my contact. If you need to reach Andrew, you can reach him at the international.undergrad@valpo.edu. I'm always happy to answer emails, and I answer pretty quickly. Here's a little fun facts about Valpo. And we have one more slide, going back to the library. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Just remember, there's no application fee on the undergrad side. All students are automatically considered for scholarships. We will take, on the grad and undergrad side, we will take scanned documents of everyone's documents. So just reach out to Valpo, try us out, see how much money we can give you as a scholarship. We want students on campus. So we are very generous with our scholarship. Like I said, 95% of our international students got scholarship. And it can be 25% off our graduate programs and up to 75% off your tuition on the undergrad. So I look forward to hearing from you. And if anyone has any questions, I'm very happy to answer those questions about Valparaiso.
Hi, Marci. This is Alexandra from Sarajevo. We do have 2 questions here in Sarajevo, at least for now, just 2 questions. First question is actually, I know that you are NCAA Division 1 school and that you have volleyball for girls.
Yes.
We do have a very interesting and inspiring volleyball player right here with us here today. Do you happen to know, does your coach is still looking for the players? Is it too late because she's in her senior year of high school at the moment? Thank you.
So the first step, if you want to get a sports scholarship, is to get yourself qualified by NCAA. So I often tell students they should be working on that on their end of their junior year and going into the summer or before their senior year.
Yes, she's already done that.
Excellent. So if you could email me at the end, I can give you there's a questionnaire we have for students who are interested in joining our athletic teams. So the best way to reach out to a coach is through that questionnaire. And sometimes our students will, if your volleyball player has good grades as well, is they can get a part merit scholarship and part academic scholarship, sports scholarship. So they could get the whole tuition and living costs covered by the university. So I think they are still recruiting, but the best way to check is to email me, and I'll help you give you the link to the questionnaire to reach out to the volleyball coach.
Thank you. And the second question would be, again, from a student right here sitting with me. She is in her junior year of high school at the moment. She is interested to see if there are any other additional scholarships that are available that you know of, maybe not from your university, but anywhere else, that could help her cover living costs as well. Thank you.
I personally don't know anyone. I only know short-term ones, like the UGrad program, but that only allows you to study for 1 year. So I personally don't know any additional scholarships. Like I said, if you got our highest scholarship, the total cost would be $24,000. But that would include your health insurance, your housing, your food, and everything else. You could get a job on campus, but that would probably only pay you around $8,000 a year. Because jobs on campus pay anywhere from $7 to $10. So you still would probably need to be able to have personal funds of around $15,000. So I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any other additional scholarships. The cool thing about tuition in America is you never have to pay, like I said, $24,000 would be the remaining cost. You would pay in installments. So you never have to give me first of all, you'll never give me $24,000 because some of that is your spending money as well. So you would be paying tuition in installments. You would pay, $4,000 here, $5,000 here, which I know is still a lot of money for Bosnia, but you would be paying in installments. The only way to go to Fulbright here is through a athletic scholarship, but we're pretty close on if you get a merit scholarship.
Thank you, Marci.
Any other? Go ahead.
We have a question from Banja Luka. I have a student here, and he's gonna represent himself and ask you the question. He's interested into sports scholarships. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Dusan Kalaba. I'm cyclist from Serbia, and I was wondering, do you have a cycling team in Valparaiso University?
Unfortunately, we have a club, but we do not have a team. I'm sorry. So sorry, cycling is not a team we have here.
It's in Division 2 that competing.
No, it's more for fun. It's an intramural, but we don't have a Division 1 for cycling.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That was the question from Banja Luka. Thank you very much.
And sorry, I didn't know this presentation was going to be for the whole region, but I do want you to know that the scholarship that goes up to 30,000 is for anyone who is part of the South Europe tour. So that includes, let me see if I can get them all right. That includes Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Macedonia, Croatia. I'm missing one, aren't I? Oh, and Kosovo. So that scholarship up to $30,000 a year is for all those countries included in the region. Did I miss anything, guys?
Slovenia.
Slovenia. Sorry. Slovenia is very lucky. They could combine it with their government scholarship.
And I don't know if you mentioned Albania or not, but yeah, those are the...
Right. Sorry, I was trying to do from memory. So it includes all the countries that are on the South Europe tour. That scholarship up to 30,000. Any other questions, guys? And even could be about studying in America.
Tuzla has a question.
Sure.
Okay. It's breaking up something with the connection here, but I hope you can hear me. So the question is, in regard to this $30,000 scholarship that you just mentioned, you said it's renewable for 4 years.
Correct.
Could you please elaborate a little bit on what do students have to do or achieve in their first or second or third year to get the scholarship renewed? Are there any criteria, or is it automatically renewed regardless of the criteria?
As long as you stay in good academic standard. It's hard to get the $30,000 scholarship. You have to be a very strong student to get the full $30,000. Our average award, to be honest, is around 24. But you can the original scholarship is based on your essay, your test, and your transcript, and 30,000 is the highest. But like I said, most students get some kind of scholarship. You get to keep that scholarship every year as an undergrad student as long as you are maintaining a good academic standard. You don't need to be #1 anymore, but you need to maintain your academic standard. Basically, if you don't fail out, you get to keep the scholarship for your whole duration of your studies here at Valparaiso University.
Okay, thank you. And another